I'm Greg Aiello, and this is Motion.
Every film I've ever seen on Mount Everest, every book I've ever read about the Himalaya, they usually paint a picture of these mountains as a frozen death zone that only the filmmakers or authors themselves were brave enough to conquer. There's no doubt these mountains can be deadly, as we found out in April of 2014 when 16 Sherpa guides were killed in a massive avalanche near Everest Base Camp. But as with most mountain ranges in the world, the dangerous, higher limits of these peaks only make up a small part of the overall experience of trekking into the Himalaya. My journey here began in the capital of Nepal, Kathmandu. The busy streets and vibrancy of the people here are unforgettable. But as exotic and fascinating as a place like Kathmandu Valley is, I couldn't wait to check off something near the very top of my bucket list, trekking to Mount Everest Base Camp. I had planned this trip for months, making every stop along the way and accounting for every possible contingency. What I didn't plan for ended up being the best part of the entire adventure. Meeting a Sherpa guide and former lama of a monastery high in the Himalaya named Chiring. He happily pointed out that trekking to Everest Base Camp wasn't necessarily the best way to see an area known as the Khumbu in Sagamarta National Park.
Are we doing that on our route?
Oh, no porter?
No, just us.
No guide?
No guide. Oh, it's just us. We'd love to see your monastery. Are you guide as well?
I go, no problem.
Yeah?
Yes, but then you discuss, I go, I no problem, yeah.
And just like that, every step we would now take would truly be into a place that make any adventure special, a place called the unknown. My original route would have taken us from Lukla up the Dudakosi River and into the massive Khumbu Glacier that flows down from Mount Everest, where base camp is found. Cows get right away. But after meeting Chiring in Namche Bazaar, we headed west to the small village of Tame and higher up to an even smaller outpost called REA. The plan was to cross 17,500-foot Renjo Pass, drop into the town of Gokyo, and finally end up at Tengboche, an historic village and monastery along the route to Everest to see a once-a-year festival called Mani Rindu. Something I did not want to miss.
Okay, you can see Ian and I are actually busily packing up for our first big pass. Unfortunately, our good buddy Kelsey has taken a hit. His hip is, I don't know, Ian, what's wrong with his hip? He's got a hip pointer, some problem with his hip.
I was feeling fine up until yesterday, no altitude problems, but woke up this morning just in real pain, my right hip. Really hard to bear weight on it, and so it's just a classic example of travel. You know, you look through maps and pore over itineraries for months and weeks leading up to the trip, and it all comes down to one day, one thing that's beyond your control, and you know, you just have to remember that about travel. You know, you can't get your heart too set on any destination or any outcome.